We got live. Oh, it's a bit frightened, isn't it? Hi guys, hope you're all well. What have we got in the chat? Larry, Mrs. T, how are you both? Hope you're all well. I've got my iPad down here. Hopefully I'm going to be able to read the chat on the iPad because the phone's a bit small to see, and we're being an old man now. Who else here? Are you sweet? How you doing? Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody had a great week. I'm sorry I missed you guys at Maker Central on the Sunday. It's just that unfortunately we had to get home. Unforeseen circumstances, as they always occur. Hi Doug, how you doing? What's everybody like? I want to talk a little bit about you and several other people, are the ones I really wanted to meet because you always comment on my channel. And yeah, but unfortunately, hopefully, if it's Maker Central next year, then I'll definitely be there the Saturday and Sunday next year. But unforeseen circumstances, I couldn't do nothing about it. But you know, I do. I don't know if I broke down then. I think two devices on the same Wi-Fi is a little bit. Hi Dan. So what have you guys been up to? Any projects you're doing that are future that we're going to see on the tubes? I've got a few in the pipeline. This week has been just, I shouldn't complain because at the end of the day it's the business and it's my business, so I shouldn't complain really, but you can only do so much in a day. Are you sure? How you doing? Really want to do sound turning, but not my tool rest is broken and can't do that. Oh dear. What broke in total broke, or can you repair it? I take it it's steel, so it needs welding. Welding's not hard. Dan, I'm sure a man of your talent can do a bit of welding. Far from it. Snapped off. So can it be welded back together, or is it a total new rest? So anyway, what I want to talk to you about is never welded in my life. It's hard, mate. You must, if you know someone who's got a small engineering workshop, some of these small fabricating companies, then I'm sure if you took your rest to them for a few quid, they just weld it back together. Being mild steel, I would imagine it just wants TIG welding back together. I would imagine it's not hard. So try and find yourself a small company and they'll weld it back together. If you weren't so far away, then I'd weld it for you, but unfortunately you're too far away, mate. Yeah, so as you may or may not know, June, SK Krafts has been going for a year. So I am really excited about being going a year. Not because of the channel. That's not a problem. I've used small engineering companies many times for... So, yeah, anytime, mate. Yeah, so SK Krafts in June about... I'm not excited about the channel doing a year. Well, I am, because the channel's done really well. And I've had a great time learning. And the learning curve over the last year has been really, really good. And I've really enjoyed it. But the biggest thing for me is the people and the friends I've made. You guys have supported me ever since day one. There are certain people who have been with the channel from day one, and I very much appreciate that. So that's the cheers, Sean. When's your channel starting? You need to start a channel now, Sean. So I've seen some of your work and it's awesome, mate. You need to get a channel started. But yeah, it's the friendships I've made, like Sean, like Dan, like Mrs. T, and loads of other people. That is what inspires me to keep the channel going. Sometimes I do find it hard because of work commitments. Mate, look at this. Look at this face. Nobody can be worse than this. I was pretty good looking till the accident. But yeah, it's the friendships that inspire me to do the channel more than anything. Yes, I do like to show what I make, and I hope that me doing the videos does help people. I do find it hard to find different projects for every single week, and sometimes I do struggle to find the time, and I'm up till 1-2 o'clock on the Thursday or early hours Friday morning editing, uploading, ready for 7 o'clock launch on the Friday. But I do it because I enjoy it, and I do it because you guys don't expect it, but you guys mean a lot to me, and I want to keep producing videos. That's why I do it. So yeah, that's the reason, and I hope that SK Krafts will be going for the foreseeable future. I've got a few things in the pipeline I want to try and push over. I want to not just do wood turning, I want to move on to a few other things as well, because by trade I'm an engineer, by trade fabricating engineer, so I want to try and do a few steel projects with incorporated in wood and things like that. So yeah, I'm thinking of a few things to do and push over, but it's just at the moment with this is my busy time. Didn't spot you at Make Steve, was hoping to handshake. I know, mate, but you went on the Sunday, I think, Dan, didn't you? And I unfortunately had to come back early, so I couldn't stay for the Sunday event. I really do regret it, because... Oh, Saturday. Oh, man, I do apologise. You should have messaged me, bud, and we'd arrange somewhere to meet. I was there from... I was in the hall from 10:15 time. Yeah, it was busy, really busy Saturday. Apparently I was a bit quieter on Sunday. Yeah, I was in the hall from 10:15 time till around about 6:10. So I was there. My poor wife was exhausted, dragging her around all these different stores all day long. But saying that, on the way home on Sunday, she said she really enjoyed it because she got to meet a lot of the people that I keep blabbing on about. And when you mention these people and when you can put faces to the names, and she was quite pleased that I didn't have imaginary friends, let's put it that way. But no, it was a great weekend, and I do apologise, Dan, that we should have got together, and the day just went like that. It just went so quick. It didn't seem to, you know, I mean, yeah, that's why I left mine at home. My 18-year-old and 14-year-old would have been fed up by 3 o'clock, definitely. But there was a lot there to do for kids, and I did see a lot of young kids doing a bit of turning, and I know Al was doing some stuff for the little ones. So yeah, there was quite a bit going on for the kids. But I know what it's like, mate, with youngsters. They do get fed up pretty quick when you want to still keep traipsing around, especially when you want to talk to people. That's for sure. But no, it's a shame. I do apologise, Dan, and hopefully next year I will be going next year. If there's a Maker Central next year, I will be there for sure. And I will be messaging people before I go to arrange to meet up, because I didn't get to see. Yeah, so do I, Dan. Very much so. We need to push Nick to do another one. Let's all do a big petition of Nick Zimitty to do another Maker Central. I think that's a good idea. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. But if there is another one next year, then I will certainly be messaging people to arrange a meet up, because I didn't get to meet half the people I wanted to see. Not because I wasn't looking. It's just that there was so much going on. I think everybody was so focused on looking around the show that the last thing you're looking for is specific people. So I did bump into a few people. I spent quite a bit of time in the bar at the Hilton with a lot of makers, which was nice. Great bunch of folks, too many to mention, just absolutely loads. And I hate to think how many people in the bar I met, but yeah, just the people who I've been watching for the last, I don't know, 2.5 years. Mate, SK Krafts ain't that good. Far from it. Far from it, mate. When I see some of the work that you other guys do, I am down on the bottom of the ladder. Long way down behind some of you guys. So, yeah, that won't be a booth. So, no. But it was nice to meet some people who I've been watching and who inspired me, and also I look up to in the turning world. Several people came and spoke to me, and several people I went and spoke to them, which I always feel a bit cheeky about bumping into people and putting my hand out to shake, because the community is a very friendly community, but you never know if someone's had a bad day, and the last thing I want to do is upset somebody. But everybody was friendly, even the big people like Jimmy DeResta. I spoke to Jimmy, I spoke to Bobby Jukes and Nicole, got them to sign my t-shirt, and so yeah, it was great. Hi Randy, thank you very much. Do you have a channel, Randy? Yeah, so I met some of the big people. I think we all feel the same way. Yeah. Oh, Randy, you need to get one up, mate. If you get some pictures up, or you got some bits that you've done, I'd love to see some bits you've made. I'd love to see. I mean, I've got several people who message me. Sean messages me now and again from is it TM Turning? Hiya Steve, hope you're well. So yeah, I love to see other people's work. I know sometimes we get, well, I did recently, I got accused of copying Nick Zimitty's channel and some of his work. But when I spoke to Nick, he basically said exactly the same way everybody says, if we didn't copy each other's work, then there'd be one bowl, one goblet, one vase, all on the internet, and that'd be it. But we all put our individual little touches to it. And I'm still learning, far from, I mean, I've got another 10 years to go before I get as good as some of you guys. And, but I love learning, and that's how I've got where I am now. So learning is a big curve for me, but you guys inspire me. You mean, I watch lots of videos every week, and all you guys, it don't matter whether it's the first thing you've turned or the 30,000th thing you've turned, to me it's well impressive. And you're right, Randy, we are our own critics. We are our biggest critics, and we all criticise our own work, because I feel sometimes my work ain't as good as what it should be. And I will hold my hands up that I am the first person to doubt myself, and I do not cut corners, but I do feel sometimes I don't push myself hard enough, which I want to try and change. So yes, you're right, every day is a learning curve. We all like to learn something new every day. So no, I agree with that, very much so. So what guys, what projects have you guys got coming up? And are we going to see them in the future, or are you still working on them? I've got a few blanks here that I've made over a period of, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. They're resin blanks that I haven't really had chance to get on the lathe yet, but I want to show you guys, and if you let me know. I want to do a resin project in the near future, but I've got all these blanks, I don't know which one to do. So if you guys see one that you want to see me turn in the near future, just give us a shout. Any project that comes off the lathe is one. That's true, Steve, very much true. Yeah, that's true, I suppose. But the trouble is, Steve, when I watch you and then when I watch me, you're just sheer talent, mate. You know what I mean? If I had half of your talent on the lathe, I'd be very impressed. Especially when you do your off-centre turning. That really, really, really does intrigue me. And I cannot get in my head how it works. Because when I was doing my engineering apprenticeship, everything has to be down within the first 2 or 3 thou when you're machining on a lathe. And then to watch you putting it off-centre to make it wobble, that don't read right in my head. I know it works right, but I just can't see myself. I just can't get my head around it. But I am going to have a go at it, and I'm going to watch your video again, how you did the off-centering, and I'm going to have a go at it, because it does intrigue me. I just need to do a little bit more research on knowing what I've actually got to do. So yes, so Steve, thank you very much for teaching me, well, not teaching me, but showing me that you can off-center without an off-center chuck. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, big ball, that's about right. Yeah, because sometimes I get frightened, especially when that lathe's zipping round. Right, so I'm just going to show you a few blanks that I've made. I made this one a few weeks ago, and it's quite a thick wool, and I put it in with a bit of green glitter in clear resin. Don't know if you can see the green, yeah, you can just see the green glitter in there. So I made that basically to make a little bowl. I don't know if you remember my shot puree bowl I made at Christmas time. So I wanted to make that on the same sort of principle as that, but I didn't know whether to put a piece of wood on the bottom just to give it a bit of character, because I've got a piece of walnut. I didn't know to stick a bit of walnut wood on the bottom just to give it a bit of well, a bit of finesse really. So I've got that one. I did this one, I don't know, must be 3 months ago. My daughter gave me a load of loom bands, and I thought they was gonna stay spread, but unfortunately they rose all to the top. So I don't know whether I can get away with that, but I was going to turn that one into, again, that's just green and red glitter, but I was going to turn that into a pot. I've got this one that again is a wool. That's like a fluffy wool that I put in. That's just clear resin, that is. That's the actual colour of the wool that's made it go a purple colour. And again, I was going to make a little bowl out of that one. Then I've got this one. Now this has basically been all my leftovers of resin I've had that I've just poured into a pot. So inside there are just chunks of resin that I've cut off of other blanks and other bits and bobs, and then that's just resin that I had left that I've just tipped over it. So again, I was thinking about making a little pot out of that one. I don't know if you remember the little lamp I made. Got to scoot, Steve. Yeah. See you later, Dan. Take care, mate. Hiya, Wayne. Hang on, guys. I can't read the chat. Chat's gone all. Right, what we got here? That's a good idea, Steve. I've never turned a sphere so far. I don't know. Don't you have to have special cups to hold it when you've turned it though? I have to look into that, but that's a good idea. And put LEDs inside it, yes. Hiya, Wayne. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a great week, and I hope you've recovered from Maker Central. No, you don't have to have cups to hold it. Oh well. All right. Yeah, I don't know if you remember the lamp I did. The little lamp, little green one. I made another blank with some, I don't know if you can see those, which I cast. I cast that with the mould I made at the other one, but they're all different colours. Again, that was just waste resin I had. And then I cast it. I cast it with a well, it's supposed to be pink, but it's more of a neon pink resin. And I don't know what I'm doing to do that one really. So then I cast this one, which was just loads of offcuts of wood I had that I've been chucking into a pot, and I thought I'd just fill it up with resin basically. So I mixed some, I think there was a translucent pink and a peach in there, so that one. Next video will show how to use one of the single logs. Is that next week, Steve? Is that on your live Tuesday you're going to do it? So with that one I was going to make a bowl, and then I'd been watching Pam and Jake and Zach, and they've been using this honeycomb. So I thought I'd have a go at making a honeycomb one, but I don't know what happened. But as you can see, it cracked. So what I did is I put it back in the tub and then poured more resin over it, just an orange resin over it, and it's filled all the crack in. So I'm hoping, no, it will be while. Oh, okay, mate, yeah, that's fair enough. No, that's fair enough. Well, I look forward to seeing it. Yeah, so I re-poured that with a piece of orange, and hopefully that's soaked in and done. But I was going to make, I'm hoping when I turn that into whatever, you're going to see some of the honeycomb through the side. So that was my plan with that one. So they're the blanks I've been making over. Hi Richard, how are you? Hope you're well. So yeah, they're the yeah, that's all right, mate. Big fingers, little thumbs. Yeah, so they're the blanks I've been working on. And while I was at Maker Central, I also indulged in some embellishing waxes. Oh, you need to. It's an addictive hobby. Very much so. I'm hooked. Really am hooked. All my other hobbies have just gone to one side for turning. So anyway, yeah, while I was at Maker Central, yeah, resin is different than turning wood. Let's put it that way. With resin, you have to be steady and slow, because if you don't, it'll chip and bang. And I don't know if it's a bit more forgiving than wood. I enjoy turning resin, and resin to me takes longer than turning a project out of wood, because it's the finishing. With wood, I find I can do a project, sand it, seal it, sand it, finish it. And with the resin, if you turn it fast and slow, you can get a good finish on it, but you still got to get the shine back to it. So before I had microfine Yorkshire grit, I used to seem to spend forever polishing resin. My pine cone egg, I must have spent 2.5 hours getting the shine back on that. But since I've had the Yorkshire grit microfine, can you get the bubbles out without a pressure pot? Yeah, that one hasn't been in a pressure pot, and there's no bubbles in. Well, not that I can see there's bubbles in it. This one's not been in a pressure pot, and as you can see, there's no bubbles in that. So yeah, you can get them out without. You can do it without a pressure pot. You need a warm. You need to be not hot, but I'd say anywhere between 16 and 18 degrees to pour, because obviously the thicker the resin, the harder it is for the bubbles to rise. But what I do is, if that's a cold day, I just gently warm the resin up before I pour it, or while I'm mixing it with the hardener. So just to take the chill off it, and you'll notice a difference as you're mixing it and it getting warm. Excuse me. As it's getting warm, you'll notice that it's not so stiff to mix, and you'll notice that as you mix it, your bubbles will rise quicker. So I always try and warm my resin up a little bit, and then once you've poured, I wouldn't do big pours without a pressure pot, but small pots and things like that, then that's not a problem. But then once, what's the mix resin you use? Yeah, I'll stick a link at the bottom. This, hang on, let me just grab it. This is the resin I use. It's clear cast. It's perhaps back to front, isn't it? But that's clear cast resin. I get that from a company called Arkwright Supplies in the UK. I don't know where you're from, Richard. And they're pretty quick, next day delivery. I've never had any problems with it, to be honest. I've had a couple crack, but I think that might have been partly because I put too much hardener in it, because it's all weighed. And you mean you're only supposed to put 0.5% of hardener in it? Yeah, so you should be alright. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll stick a link in the end of this. Once I get in the house and put on the computer, I'll stick a link for Arkwright Supplies. And that's where I get it. They do different types. They do the clear one, which is that one, and then they also do a non-clear one, which I suppose if you was putting colour in it, you could use that for colouring. So yeah, that's all right, mate, not a problem, anything to help. So yeah, I've done both. I do prefer to put it in a pressure pot, because obviously that does eliminate getting rid of air bubbles, but small castings, and I think, where is it? This one was, that one, I'm in Canada. It's a bloody fortune. I can imagine, mate. This was put in a pressure pot, and like I say, this one cracked. You can see that it cracked, but I think that was because it was a big pour, and I think I might have put a little bit too much hardener in, or activator in that, and I think that's why. But it's trial and error. Just do small things. Just try small things and try them. But pressure pots aren't expensive. You don't need to go and buy a £300 or £400 pressure pot. I bought, I'm going to move the mess. This is my pressure pot, and what it is a paint spraying pot. I think from eBay I bought this for about 45-50 quid. So, and all I've done to it is I've put a pressure gauge in the top and a different relief, pressure relief. No, this is a pressure relief. A tap to relieve the pressure inside it. And like I say, I'm sure that was only about 45-50 quid. So you don't need to spend a fortune to do the job. And at the time, I mean, when I first started turning, I didn't want to go spend, well, I hadn't got loads of money to go and spend on equipment. So I'm like everybody. When you start a hobby, it's all about pay. And I don't know what's the minimum PSI. I set mine to 50 psi. And they do say 50 psi is about the right pressure. And no. And I'm not being funny. For a hobby, you don't want to keep paying out all the time. And we do. I don't know about you guys, but I do the hobby because I enjoy doing it. So I don't want to go and spend a fortune like my resin. I would love to. Can you turn acrylic plastics? I would imagine so. If your chisels are sharp enough, can't see why not. If you can turn wood, you can turn resin. I would imagine. I turn acrylic and polyethylene on my steel lathe when I'm making bushes and things like that. So I can't see why you can't turn it on a normal lathe. Obviously your tools have got to be sharp, but saying that if you're turning resin, they've got to be sharp. So yeah, I can't see why not. But anyway, so what I was saying about hobbies, I don't want to spend a fortune on a hobby. Not that I don't enjoy, that I can't justify spending a fortune. I mean, so when I started out, I bought a cheap pressure pot and I bought some resin off of eBay, and I think it was about £50 for a gallon of resin. And to me, that's a lot of money, £50 for a gallon, because one pot, you might use 2.5 kilos of resin for a pot. So that £50 is 2 pots. Now to me that's a lot of money. So I was hoping to find a better supplier for resin, which I did, because I think a gallon, I buy 2 gallons of the clear coat, no, the clear resin, and I think delivered to the door it works out about £63 for 2 gallons. So to me that's a little bit more justifiable. Anytime, not a problem at all. Sorry, sweet. What's your name? I don't like keep calling you sweet. So yeah, so the resin's a little bit cheaper, so I don't mind spending that now. And the thing is, I don't use as much because I'm doing a little bit more wooden turning as well now. So, but like the dyes and the colours, I would love to be able to go to House of Resin. Hi, Leona. How are you? Have you recovered? I would love to be able to go to the House of Resin and buy all the resins and the dyes, but I just cannot afford it. I just can't afford it. Well, well, we're all here to help each other. That's all I'm going to say. Is it Fawn? You are now in the boat where I was a year ago, and this community, through talking to other people, I've safely say still a looper. That's not very nice, Steve. Oh, Gavin, how are you, Gavin? Yeah, the community you are about to enter in this Turnham world, she always was. Both of us, Steve and Wayne, are both on the owner now. Yeah, this community that you're about to enter for Turnham, I can safely say is one of the best communities and groups of people I've ever been in. Everybody is so helpful, everybody is so supportive, and we all learn, we all make mistakes. I agree, Leona, you are sensible. Yeah, so this group is great. You know, I mean, I owe a lot to this group, and I'm so grateful to know all you guys, and yeah, I like to class you as my friends. Steve. So yeah. So have you guys got any questions for me, or can you throw any projects at me? that will help me in the future, because like I say, a couple of weeks time SK Krafts will be a year old, and I must admit it's been a good learning journey last year, so I hope to carry that on and progress into more adventurous projects. Hiya Maggie, how are you? It's no good, I've got to start wearing my glasses. I can't see that screen over it. I'm very good, thank you. I've just about recovered after last weekend. Too many late. I'm not a late night man, and too many late nights. I can't cope with that. These guys don't sleep. I think Steve was propping up the bar till I don't know when. But that boy don't sleep. He don't sleep at all. But no, we're all well. Thank you very much for asking. It's a good idea, Richard. A lighthouse. Out of wood or out of resin? What do you reckon? I'm a wuss, Steve. I'll admit it. I'm a wuss. I'll hold my hand up. The one on my right, turn around. Which one? This one? This one, Leona? Yes. It is blocks of offcuts of all different bits of wood, and I think it's a pearly pink and peachy coloured resin. Now I'll turn it so you can see. I don't know what to make out of it yet. Do I make a bowl or do I make a pot? Larry, is Yorkshire Grit and Hampshire Shine two different products? Yes, they are, I believe. Yes, Yorkshire Grit and Hampshire Sheen are two different companies. I have Hampshire Sheen's. I purchased this at the weekend. Yeah, Hampshire Sheen is Martin. Yeah, you're right. I purchased this the weekend, and then Yorkshire Grit is by Glinsenia. So yes, two different companies. I'm trying. Well, I'm not trying. I have been doing a little bit of playing around with colours off camera, and I decided that I want to go a little bit deeper into it. When I went to the Newark show with John Kofier and Martin, is it Goslin, whatever his name, MG makes, excuse me. Oh, congratulations, Richard. I purchased the embellishing waxes to give those a try, and Martin was kind enough to do. Yeah, I use both. I use Yorkshire Grit and well, I've only just bought these. I haven't used these yet, so this is my chance. I bought the embezzling waxes, and I also bought the colours as well. Yeah, so Martin Sabian was kind enough to show me, or while he was doing a demo, just explain to me how these all work. I've been watching John's work for a little bit, so I wanted to have a go with them. So yeah, and then I ordered online the Hampshire Sheen High Gloss, because I've seen how this shines stuff up, and I think that's absolutely awesome. So at the moment I've been using Chestnut's friction polish, and to be honest, does anyone know how much? No, sorry, I don't know. So so I'm going to give this a try, because the friction polish is good stuff, but there's always something better, isn't there? So I'm going to give that a try and see how that goes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to do I not like Hampshire Sheen? What, me or Steve Tydell? I think my phone's going to run out in a minute. Anytime, Steve. You know where I am if you need me. Take care, mate. I'll speak to you soon. So yeah, so I'm going to try the Hampshire Sheen products. I will get a project up for next week, and well, I definitely will be getting one up next week. So I'm hoping to do something with a bit of colour. I've seen John do quite a bit of work, and his work is amazing, especially how he gold leafs and God knows what else, and that's a different level that I'm not above yet, or I'm not on yet. So like everybody, we learn by our mistakes, and yours is Wayne. I didn't get to see your string pulling, Wayne. I was really gutted about that. Did you manage to get some string pull done, Wayne, with Maker Central? Yorkshire grit is the word sound. Yeah, that's right, Fred. It is exactly it. Yorkshire grit is absolutely awesome, and I'll tell you what Yorkshire grit is really good for. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't miss too much then, so I'm all right. I've been gutted if I missed. Yeah, Yorkshire grit is absolutely brilliant for polishing up, especially on resin work. The microfine perhaps takes it up to about 1,000 grit shine, so that's brilliant. And I'll tell you what else microfine Yorkshire grit is for: plastic headlights on your car. They are absolutely spot on for that. I've got a Land Rover Discovery, and my headlights were absolutely nearly yellow, and I'd had the car, when I first had the car they were misty, and I paid to have them cleaned, and then they were starting to go again. Oh right, okay, I appreciate that, thank you, Ryan. So yeah, so they're absolutely brilliant for your headlights as well. So I've now got nice shiny headlights on my car, which is great because that means the wife can see, so there's no chances of her crashing. Yeah, and thank you, Richard. And yeah, so that's great for that, and it really does bring it. I mean, I was skeptical because I'd been sanding with I've been sanding when I was doing my resin work with wet and dry up to 12,000 grit. So, and then getting the shine back with friction polish. Jamie Page messaged me and said, "Why are you sanding that far when you could be using Yorkshire grit microfine?" And I'm thinking, oh, that's a bit of paste. How the hell can that be as good as that? And I hold my hand up. He was right. It was absolutely amazing. I sanded up to, I think I sanded up to about 800 grit, and then I just took it the rest of the way with the microfine Yorkshire grit, and it came up absolutely spotless. So the sweet chestnut I did, that was with microfine. I think that was the first project I used microfine on, and it's come up as good as the pine cone egg that I sanded right through with wet and dry and microfine. Oh no, micromesh, sorry. So yes, micro grit Yorkshire grit microfine is absolutely awesome, and you don't use a lot of it. That's the thing. You mean a tub costs you, I think a tub is about a tenner, but they last forever. I'm still on my first Yorkshire grit tub. That's how much they last, and I use it on every. Oh, excuse me. I use it on every single product or project I do. So yes, you don't need a lot. All you need is a little tiny bit. So it's absolutely great. So all right, Dave. Thank you, Dave. yeah, you don't use a lot of it at all, and the tub lasts forever. So you know what I mean, go and buy some. It's absolutely brilliant. I know there's another. I see that Doug from Pole Barn Products is using another one now, and I see Sam from Twisted Crafts. He tried it as well, and they reckon that's as good as Yorkshire. But I don't know. I'm a great fan of finding a project you like and sticking with it. Hi Patricia, how are you? Hi guys, just thought my first bit. No, I know what you're saying, Wayne. Yeah, I've got a question for you, Wayne. When you colouring, when you're putting your colours into your wood, you don't sand and seal, do you? Because if you sand and seal, obviously the colour's not going to penetrate the grain. Because I was talking to someone the other day and they told me to sand and seal before I colour, but I don't think that's right. Yeah, so Yorkshire Grit is great stuff. Go and buy it. Definitely buy it. Go see Glenn Senior and buy it. And I'm hoping, well, I've seen products done with Hampshire Sheen, and I think that's a good product, but I think that's a product different to Yorkshire Grit. Like you say, it's for colouring, shining and buffing, where Yorkshire Grit is for sanding and bringing back shines and finishing off. So yeah, it's good stuff, both good stuff. And I was also told at the weekend that I didn't realise that you can use Yorkshire Grit microfine on wood. I thought you could use it on resin, but apparently you can use it on wood as well. So I learned something new there as well. I've seen a couple of people use it on wood and I didn't realise you could. Right, colour in the wood, then sand and seal, but use a fine Scotch Brite pad to knock back. Oh right, okay, rather than sand it back. Thank you very much, Wayne, for that. Just a normal Scotch Brite or an automotive Scotch Brite, doesn't really matter. So yeah, so no guys, I really appreciate you guys taking a bit of time out of your Friday evening to chat to me tonight. It's been nice, and I think I should do a few more lives. I'd like to do a live project. Right, okay. Thank you, Wayne. I'd like to do a live project, but I don't think I'm that confident, to be honest. Because when I'm doing a project, I like to be focused on what I'm doing. And I think I might ignore you. And I didn't want it to be too boring. And I think I'd be nervous if I knew that people were watching me live. So maybe in the future, but at the moment, sorry guys, I can't do a project live. I'm not as brave as some of you other folk. No, not even with your comments. I'm not doing a live. So yeah, guys, great. Is there something that you guys would like to see me do? Whether it be, I don't know, a project, not a project, but like a bit more lives, shorter videos, longer videos, not so often videos. Is once a week too much? So, no, definitely not. So, yeah, let me know. I mean, I'd just like to have, it's a shame really, you can't do video chats both ways. Well, I'll tell you the editing software that I use. Just 1 second, I'll just log into this. I started off using a free software, and it was all great big B in there. Fred's is an abrasive product. Yeah. I started off, when I first started doing my editing, I started off with a free piece of software, which was okay, but then when you started to export, after about the third or fourth export, you then had to keep uninstalling it, reinstalling it, unless you bought the license for it, which was like 160 odd quid. But I now use Wondershare, and to be honest, it's a good piece of software, and I get on with it really well. You may not. It's down to each preferences, and I think when you sign up for it, you get a trial, and I think you can upload or export so many before you have to pay for it. And I think lifetime subscription is around about 70 quid, which to be honest is not too bad. But like I say, you get a free trial, but that doesn't include, if you want unlimited what do you call them, packages, music, background sequences, all this other stuff, you have to pay for that monthly, which I'm not interested in. I just want to do my basic videos. I'm not, maybe in the future, maybe, but at the moment, again, it's a hobby, don't want to spend a fortune on it. So yeah, so I use Wondershare. I'll put a link for that in the description as well, so you guys can check it out. So yeah, it's a good piece of software. It's easy to use. I don't think your machine has to be mega powerful either to run it. Mine seems to, well, now and again it copes with it. Depends on how the wife's been looking at things and the kids downloading different rubbish onto it. You know how it is. So but yeah, no, mine seems to cope with it okay. And most of the videos I do are normally exported up to about 1.5 to 2 gig. So, but that's the longest part. When you export it, it usually takes, depending on, obviously the bigger the video, the longer it takes. To export usually takes about 3.5 hours. But what I normally do is if I've been editing that night, I normally export it the following morning when everybody's out of the house, so the computer can just do what it's got to do, and then check it when I come home from work. So that's how I do it. So I don't know how you guys do your stuff. You mean, I don't know about you, but when you video, there's so much footage to go through. You know what I mean? For a 20-minute video, you got like 4 hours worth of video footage to go through. And I know people say it should only take you an hour, hour and a half to edit your video. I don't know what planet they're in. No. Mine's maybe an evening, 6 hours. That's you know what I mean. But I like to put music in it. I like to fade it in and out, a bit of, you know, text and this, that, and the other. So I don't know. It's maybe just my own preference. But what do you guys think? Do you think I put too much music in? Do you think there should be more talking? You know what I mean? Let me know, because obviously I want to increase. Yeah, it is a slog. You're right. I think actually the editing is harder sometimes than the. Really, Dwayne? Jesus Christ, you're a clever bloke. I can't do it in one go. So there's no edit. You just, from start to finish, that's what you put up on YouTube. I can do that. No, because I've started using 2 cameras, one from one angle, one from another angle, so I can, rather than keep swapping the cameras over, I can just go through the footage at the end and then take a piece from that camera, a piece from that camera, and I find that easier than keep stop start all the time, because I lose my track of where I'm going to. The last couple have been start to finish. Bloody hell, Wayne. See, that's the difference between you and me. Experience, novice. What else can I say? I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do it. I know you use a remote camera, don't you, Wayne? You keep stop start on your camera. And I've seen you with the remote in your hand a few times on your videos. So that's a good idea. But the trouble is with me, I'll start both cameras and I'll just leave them running. And even if I walk off, I'll leave the cameras running. Which I know is a silly thing to do, but I forget. It's up there, mate. I forget. So no. Yeah. So so that's the software I use. Yeah. Well, nor could I edit. If you watch my first videos, you will see that the editing is absolutely shocking. Mind you, some of the new ones ain't too good. Yeah, apparently the GoPros are pretty good for video editing. I've got a small, it's not a GoPro, it's the one that came off, it's like an action camera that came off my drone, and good video quality, But the trouble is the battery doesn't last very long. The battery lasts about 30 minutes on it, so it doesn't last long enough. And I did try to use it when I first started. I had an old camcorder that we used to use as a family, and then I decided to try this little camera that was on my drone, and it was great. Picture was perfect, but it ran out, and I didn't realise, because there's nothing on the camera to say it's on or off, other than a little LED screen on the back. Yeah, they're not very long batteries on them. That's the trouble with them. And mine, you couldn't run it off the mains. It had to be off the battery. So I use them. Yeah, that's one thing I wish I could get as an external mic, but my cameras don't take an external mic. So yeah, I should have gone for a bit better quality cameras, paid a little bit more money for them so you could plug a mic into them, but hey ho. The future will be that. But the thing is, where do you draw a line? How much do you spend on a hobby? You know what I mean? And a decent camera, a decent HD camera is not cheap. You're looking 250, 300 quid for a decent HD camera. I did try a cheap one. I bought a cheap one off of eBay, which was about 65, 70 quid, and it was shocking. It's supposed to be HD. I had a mobile phone 10 years ago that was better video quality, that's for sure. It was absolutely shocking. I sent it back. Rubbish. So no. So I had to buy decent cameras. And again, it's all about the hobby, isn't it? Yeah, it's flying above my head. Can you hear it? There it is, look. I'm going to zap it in a minute. But no, yeah, so... But the thing is, you benefit in the long run because of the quality of the video. And I wanted to put a decent video out there. Spending a fortune on tools is my hobby. Really? You say that, I've just had to buy a new dust extraction for work. And I've been looking around, a little bit off the hobby side of things. But I don't know if you know, but I'm a builder by trade. And my biggest thing is carpentry. And with a lot of work we're doing at the moment is internal work, and we can't obviously run our chop saws and planes and routers and all that inside someone's house kicking dust up everywhere. And there's not always the space to set up outside or the weather. So I've had a Hoover, I don't know, for the last 3 or 4 years, and I've been spending between 150, 200 pound on a Hoover, and it's been lasting me about 18 months, 2 years. But with the punishment we give it, I thought it was fairly good. So I was talking to a guy a few weeks ago, and he's a big Festool fan. And I was talking to him, and he said to me, I was saying to him about this Hoover, my bearings are now starting to go my Hoover because when you turn off it whistles. And I've had it out 3 or 4 times, cleaned it all out, repaired it, repacked it, and it's now starting to go. So I need a new Hoover. So I've been looking around at Makita, Bosch, loads of other different brands. Anyway, I was talking to this guy a couple of weeks ago, and he said, you ought to get a Festool one, mate. I'm going, Festool? I can't afford Festool. They're like 700-800 quid. And he's going, I'll show you something. So he went to his van, opened the door, he's got this Festool extractor sitting there. And he said to me, he said, that one there, he said, I've had it 7.5 years, and it's still as good as the day I bought it. And I'm like, if I'm spending 150, 200 pound every 18 months, 2 years, and that's going to last me 7 years, it's more cost effective to buy a Festool to start with. So I've been looking around, and I spoke to Richard Morley the other day, messaged him because I know he's a Festool fan, and I messaged him and asked him what he thought between the Festool, Makita, and I believe there was another one, and he said Festool all the time. So thanks to Richard, I've been and bought a Festool Hoover or extractor, which I collect tomorrow. So like you say, tools are expensive, but unfortunately for my job I need it, because in the long run it's going to be a lot cheaper to have a decent quality dust extractor that's going to draw all the muck up when I use the chop saw, the router, or the planer, things like that, than it is to dirty a customer's house up and end up with the complaint and the loss of work. So in my eyes it's worth it in the long run. And the good thing is, the guy who I sub out to quite a bit, he's let me put it through his account, so there's not so much to pay, so that's even better. So let's just read these. Yes, I agree with you there, Larry. Certainly, several times I have done jobs for people for other stuff, because in the long run it's done me better good than taking the money. I've got several friends who we sort of do jobs for each other, so yeah, that works out a lot better. Rather than paying him to do something for you and you paying him to do something, him paying you something to do for you, it's easier just to sometimes just negotiate and swap things, and I agree with that. The CTL MIDI, that's exactly what I've just bought. I've heard such good reviews of them. I've read the reviews on them, absolutely brilliant apparently. They are compact. How are you, Pam? How are you? Hope you're well. Yeah, the CTL MIDI is compact, and the thing I like about it is that the hoses and everything is bloomin' B. There it is, look. The hoses pack in the top, so everything's contained, and that's what I like about it, and that's one of the things that attracted me to it, and the reviews, because the reviews are absolutely brilliant on it. So yeah, no, but I will let you know because I pick it up tomorrow, so it'll have its maiden voyage on Monday, because I'm doing another kitchen Monday, so it'll have its maiden voyage to see what it's like. So yeah, it's bloomin' B. If that sting me, I won't be very happy. Don't know what's after. Nothing in here. Have you recovered, Pam, from Maker Central? Have you recuperated? I know you had a busy 2 days. I really do hope Maker Central's on next year. I think we should all hound Nick till he puts one on. What do you guys reckon? Because it was a brilliant weekend. I just wish I had to, or I wish I'd have stayed for the Sunday. Yeah, it was a great show, Pam. I see that lovely view you put on the other day, Pam, on Instagram. I take it as a view from your house, is it? Sorry, I've got to get this bee out. What, Maker Central's planned for 2021? That's, what, 2 years away? Oh, no. Yeah, I think you're right there, Sean. If I catch you, I'm going to cast it in Resin, for sure. Richard, don't ask me that question. We have this conversation all the time. I go into a merchant's and I say I'll have some 100 by 50, and they'll give me planes 47 by 89 or whatever it is, and I'm like, what the hell's that? That's ridiculous. There's nothing competitive nowadays, and like CLS supposed to be 3x2, not 3x2, 60, 68 by 30 something. It's ridiculous. There's nothing right nowadays. Nothing. Yeah, exactly, Wayne. It's because it's planed. All sizes go on unplaned sizes. So if you get rough sawn, it will be 50 by 100. But because they plane it, it's obviously taking that much off of it. But when I first started in the trade, even CLS, 3x2 and 4x2 CLS would be like 45 by, say, 90 or 95, 96. But even that's getting smaller and smaller. I think the trouble is because the timber is such poor quality now, it's just, yeah, they won't tell you that. No, they don't go by plain sizes, they go by rough sawn sizes. But like I say, I think because the timber quality now is so low that there's just not the quality of timber out there to plane. Because if I plane a piece of oak, if I want a piece of oak for a pelmet or a piece of trim or whatever, and I want to plane it down to say 25mm, if I start with like a 26mm piece of oak, I can get it down to 25mm without a problem. So But I don't know why they have to. I think because softwood chips so easily, and because it's so lightly, because it's force grown, it's so light, it just chips and they can't get a good finish on it. That's why they have to plane it down so much. But like you say, yes, it is wrong. It shouldn't be 4x2 or 100 by 50 if it's 89 by 37 or 38 or whatever it is. Oh, excuse me. So no, I agree. But don't know. The answer to that one is I don't know. But if you look at the grade of timber we get now, it's nowhere near as good as it was 10, 15 years ago, that's for sure. Fencing panels, any timber. I mean, I cut a roof in on Tuesday night for an extension that's been what's going on that I'm involved in, and they wanted to have the timbers cut in, so I went down Tuesday night and cut them in, and we had some timber 2s there because they're having a big skylight put in, so they have to be tripled up on either side, and then header and foot have to be doubled up and bolted together. But bear in mind, these are supposed to be C16 grade timber 2s, and so they should be all kiln dried, nice and straight, no twists in them, no bows in them. Nah, we struggled like hell. When you're strapping 3 timber 2s side by side to try and give you one strong beam, and then you've got your ceiling line to go underneath that, you're trying to get a nice level line. It's virtually impossible because no two beam is the same. So we did struggle to get, and in the end we had to pack them where they were, and we're going to have to we're either going to have to feather them out by planing them upside down before we board, or we're going to have to try and pack them to feather them out. Is that okay for making the outside chair? Depends on what you're going to do with it. If it's going to be a chair that is treated anyway through stains, oil-based stains, spirit-based stains, anything like that, then I don't think you really need to have it treated. To be honest, if I was making a chair that was going to be solid, I think I'd use a hardwood anyway. I wouldn't use a softwood like pine or something like that. But pressure treated wood is okay, but if you cut a piece of treated wood, it's not treated all the way through. If you get a piece of 4x2 treated timber, pressure treated timber, we use a lot of it for external work. If we're doing, I'm trying to give you an example. If we're doing like paddock fence and things like that, we use 4x2. It's supposed to be pressure treated, but if you cut through it, it's not actually pressure treated all the way through. So you'll see about 10-15 mil on all the edges, and then the middle's hollow, or not hollow but normal colour. So it's never pressure treated all the way through. And I think you'll find when you, because they pressure treat them at packs at a time, yeah, it is very wet, especially if it's been stored outside. And then the more in the middle of the pack you go, the more wetter that'll be, that's for sure. We did one, must be 2 years ago now, done some paddock fencing, just over, I think it was just over 300 linear meters of paddock fencing, and we had a whole pack of 4x2s, and the further we got in the middle, the less pressure treating was in them, because what they do is they just stick the whole pack into a great big pressure unit, and then actually pressurize the cabin to pump in the liquid. But obviously if the liquid can't get through, it can't soak into the timber, can it? So that's hence why we pack. So yeah, it depends on where you get it from as well. But like you say, if it's a new pack, it will be, the more you go in the middle of the pack, the damper it'll be, for sure. But it does last longer. You know what I mean? If it's an uncut piece of timber, then that will, well, they do say 10 years, but I don't know. I've never known a wooden post in the ground to last 10 years. That's one of the reasons why I stopped doing wooden fence posts. Oh, must be 6 years ago. I won't put a fence up unless it's concrete posts. The reason being is I don't want to go back in 3 or 4 years digging out a post that I've concreted in to change for a £4 post. It's not. The thing is, I've got to go back and charge the customer. And how much do you charge for going digging a post out to replace a £4 post? I don't know. So yeah, so I always well, I always recommend concrete posts, concrete gravel boards. Once you put them in, never gonna have to worry about them again. The worst you've got to do is slide a panel out and slide a new panel in, and that's it. So in the long run, it's more cost effective, because I think a concrete post is maybe 4, 5. No, let's say maximum of £10 a post more. Well, in my eyes, if I'm having a fence put up, and that costs me an extra £100 to have a fence that's going to be there forever, other than less real heavy wind. Really heavy wind's going to snap a post, but then that's obviously an insurance job. So that's more cost effective in my eyes, but some people don't see that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it does. I agree, Dave, it does. And the trouble is, there are people out there who will screw people, do people over just to make money out of them through I know people who are charged £80 to £100 to change a wooden post. Well, to me, that's daylight robbery. Absolute daylight robbery. You mean, if it's concrete in, yes, okay, it's going to take you an hour to break the concrete out, but there's no way you should charge £80 or £90 to change a wooden post. It's daylight robbery, and people get away for it. And the trouble is, it's things like that. Yeah, no, you're right, it is. But it's people that are charging those high prices that give all us builders a bad name. And I've been to so many places where the customer's been done over by Joe Blogs, and I'm there to put stuff right that they've messed up, they've paid for, and then they've not come back and finished it. Or I'll give you an example. I used to do a lot of work for a company called Norfolk Home Call, which looks after the elderly. Now, the reason I started doing work for Norfolk Home Call is not because I wanted to make money out of the old folk. It was because my nan and granddad were to a stage where they couldn't do things for themselves, and I didn't like the thought that my nan and granddad were being done over by people, cowboys. So I thought, if I can go and help a few old people do it's only small jobs like putting up shelves, curtains, repairing taps, outside taps, just basic stuff, real basic. So I thought I'd do it every evenings and weekends just to help the old folk out. And like I say, the reason I did it was because I didn't like the thought of old folk being done over. So I had a phone call from Norfolk Home Call asking if I would go and see a lady in a local village to me because she had a dripping tap. So I said, yeah, of course I would. No, it's not good practice, Dave. But the thing is, sometimes you have to use it because you know access to electric or water. You have to, and with those postcrete bags, you only need, I think it's about 2.5 litres of water per bag. So it's more effective in the long run. But they are good. Don't get me wrong, they are. I wouldn't use them if they were bad, but they are good. Yeah. So anyway, I had this phone call. Would I go and see this lady? So I went and saw this lady on the Saturday morning. Knocked on her door. Elderly lady, must have been in her late 70s, early 80s. Frail, how most old people are. On her own because she'd lost her husband. So anyway, showed her my ID card. She invited me in. And she had a dripping tap. So I went and had a look at the tap. And it was in a bathroom. So I said, yeah. And she had a sink tap and a bath tap. So I said, well, I'll do them both while I'm here. So anyway, went to the van, turned the water off, got the cutting gear, reseated them, put new washers on. Anyway, she came out, she goes, would you like a cup of tea? So I'm like, yeah, fine. So obviously I'm like anybody, I like a bit of a chat. So we sat there, I'd done the washers, sat there having a chat. I just happened to look up and I looked at her kitchen, and on a kitchen sink there was two different, the original tap was there, and then there was a different tap head there. And I said to her, what's going on with your sink tap? She goes, oh, that was the last plumber, she said, he came in about 4 months ago and took the other head away. He was going to get new insides for the tap because that wouldn't stop dripping. He said, and I haven't seen him back lately since. I said, oh right, okay. I said, well, do you want me to sort it out while I'm here? And she goes, oh no. She said, that's fine. I said, oh well, if you want while I'm here, I'll sort it out for you. And she said, well, if you can, that'd be great. I said, well, obviously we can't repair it because we haven't got it. I said, but you mean I've got a book in the van, I'll show you some different taps and I'll nip off and get you a tap and do it for it. So anyway, we agreed on a tap. So I nipped off, got the tap. She asked me if I could do an outside tap while I was there as well, which was straight through the wall underneath the kitchen sink. Nice little easy job. So I said, yeah, I'll do that as well. So I went and got this tap, come back. Anyway, fitted it all, done all the outside tap, sat there talking. She said, how much do I owe you? So I give her the bill. And I said, she said, oh, is that enough? And I go, yeah, I think I charged her with the tap. I think it was about £80 with the tap and all the fittings and everything else, about 80 quid. And I said, yeah, it's what I said, your tap was only so and so, your kit and this and that. And she goes, well, the other plumber charged me £140 just to do what that, and he ain't seen him since. She'd paid him £140, and all he'd done was took off the old head, put a manky old head he had in his toolbox on there, and skinned her for 140 quid. Absolutely day right. I felt so sorry for this woman. If I hadn't have paid out for materials, I'd have told her to keep the money because I felt so guilty. And it's just a damn shame that there are people out there with no conscience that do think that the elderly have just got stupid money to waste. And it's not right. People, some of the old folk can hardly afford to feed themselves. It's terrible. I just hope when I'm old, I've got someone who don't try to fleece me. Well, I won't have nothing. I've got 2 kids, I won't have nothing. So yeah, no, it's really wrong. Yeah, there are some gets out, and I've seen a lot of old folk and nice and young folk, not just old uns. You mean I've been in this trade now, 2004 I started my business up, and in that period of time I've repaired and sorted out a lot of work that people have paid for that have not that have been done over, and it's terrible. It's horrible. You mean, don't get me wrong, you get some people out there who are the wrong ones, who don't want to pay you when you've done your work, but you also get a lot out there who have been done over by a lot of wrong people, and like I said all along, it gives all the builders a bad name, which is hard. But like I say, don't get me wrong, it's not everybody, and there are bad customers out there as well, believe me, I've had a few. So yeah, it's not all one-sided, but to rip people off, no. Honest day's work for an honest day's pay. That's what I was taught by my granddad, and he never went wrong. At the end of the day, you got a clear conscience and you got a roof over your head. That's all that really matters, isn't it? We work for one reason. We only work for one reason, and that's to support our families. And yeah, you shouldn't have to rip people off for it, though. Definitely not. Thank you, Dave. I'd like to feel that I'm a good, well, not a good person. Well, yeah, a good person. I wouldn't. We've all done things we've regretted. We've all done things that we regret. Thank you very much. And believe me, if I had my time again, I'd do a few things differently. But I think we all would. But that's what life's all about, isn't it? It's all about a learning curve. And if you don't learn, you're not living life properly. So, yeah. Have I done things wrong? Yes. Have I done things I regret? Most definitely. And are there things that I would do again differently? Yes. But I think from the mistakes I've made and the things I've done over the years, I think I've become a better person from it. Very much so. Dave, Wayne, don't start that bathroom. I think Dave's done his bathroom now. I think Dave's done his bathroom now, I believe. I told Dave months ago, excuse me, if he didn't live so far away, I'd have been there. And don't get me wrong, if he needs me, I'll come up and give him a hand to do his bathroom. That's only, you know what I mean, what is it, 4 hours away, 5 hours away? Dave, I need to come up for a weekend and get it sorted for you, mate. Not a problem. If you need me up there, I'll come up and give you a hand. That's not a problem. Not next weekend, though, because I'm away. So, but any time after that. But no, I don't mind helping anybody. Friends, that's what friends are for, isn't it? So, right guys, I think I'm going to go. What's the time now? The time is now 20 past 7. 20 past 8.
It's 2019.
It's 2019, so Siri tells me. I hate it. Can you not plaster, Dave? You must be able to plaster. You can do everything else. If not, Artex. Artex it. That'll solve the problem. No, don't Artex it, because if it's finished, that means your landlord's going to put the price up. But no. So is there any questions you guys want to ask me before I go? Because I ain't had no tea yet. And my belly's rumbling. So... what's everybody up to the weekend? Quiet weekend? Resting after last weekend? Very good. How far is it from me to you, Dave? Or how long? I can't remember when I came up how long it took me. No, I don't know about that, Richard. I had chips for my dinner. Shh. Shh. Don't tell the wife. She's gone out anyway. She's left me to it. She came in about 5 minutes before I came on and said, I'm going out. I'll see you later. Oh, okay, darling. Bye. Love you. Yeah, I want to try and get into the workshop this weekend. I miss it because I haven't had a chance to get in there in the week. 5 or 6 hours. Yeah. Yeah, because I haven't had a chance to get in the workshop all week. I came in there last night about 6:30. I got home from work, came straight in there from work. And I was going to try and get a project up, like I said this morning on my video. And okay, Larry, thank you very much for coming on. Nice to speak to you. Oh, fish and chips. Yeah, so I tried to get in there last night to do a project, but one, I was absolutely shattered, and two, by the time I'd made it, edited it, I just wouldn't have got it up, and that wouldn't have been my best. So I didn't want to put something up that weren't no good. But I'm hoping to, like I say, I've got to go get the Hoover tomorrow, pick it up in the morning, which is only 15 miles down the road, so it's not far. And then I'm hoping to get in the workshop tomorrow to get ready for next week's project, which I haven't even thought about yet. But like I say, I'm going to try. Okay, Maggie, thank you very much. Speak to you soon. So yeah, I want to get in the workshop tomorrow. And maybe I really want to go to colouring. So turn boxes with Jason Bretch tomorrow. Turn boxes. How's that work? Oh, what, little round boxes? Yeah, take it. Yeah, so tomorrow hopefully, and then I've got people coming over tomorrow afternoon. Not till about 4 o'clock though, so no workshop then. Got to be sociable, so the wife tells me. So yeah, so then Sunday, I've got nothing planned for Sunday, so hopefully spend most of the day in there Sunday. So yeah, hopefully Sunday get in there. So yeah, so anyway guys, thank you so much all of you for spending your Friday evening here and joining in. Very much appreciate it. And I will certainly be doing some more lives. Hopefully might be brave enough to do a project. I wouldn't hold your breath. I might do a casting live. Yeah, that might be worth thinking about. So anyway guys, thank you so much for coming and enjoying or joining me. I want you all to have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll have a project up for next week. Well, definitely will have a project up for next week. So take care, speak to you all soon, and bye for now.